And over 7 hours after the first three hostages were released, the first Palestinian prisoners were freed from Israeli custody. Palestinians across the devastated territory began making their way home on Sunday, and hundreds of trucks with humanitarian aid began to enter the territory. The next release of hostages and prisoners is due on Saturday, with 33 hostages and nearly 2,000 Palestinian prisoners and detainees to be freed over the ceasefire's 42-day first phase. Michal Cotler-Wunsh, Israel's special envoy for combating anti-Semitism, joined us to explain exactly who the released prisoners are.
Yeah, so we have to be very, very clear. The 90 people released and set to be released, all of whom basically were either tried for attempted murder of Israelis, some of whom failed in their attempt. So they only stabbed, but were unsuccessful at murdering the Israelis that they set to murder. And in that sense, what we are seeing, and these are sort of, by the way, the lighter, if you will, criminals, war criminals that will be released in stages. And we should mention that many of them were released to Judea and Samaria and to Jerusalem, so that they are now walking freely with full intent, actually self-declared by themselves, to continue pursuing the terror for which actually the Palestinian Authority, as you may or may not know, pays to slay Jews. And you are remunerated by the success, if you will, and the number of Jews that you are then sort of successful at murdering. And so, yes, we now have 90 more potential Jew murderers in what I would regard as an extortion of a genocidal terror organization that Hamas is designated as such, including in Canada and most countries around the world, in a situation in which we saw, and the majority of the world, or any of us who actually, cherish life and liberty, could not but shed a tear in the release of 3 women literally stolen from their beds by this genocidal terror organization. And in return, if you will, was the release extorted from Israel of the first sort of group of 90 individuals that we just mentioned, all of whom sat in Israeli prisons for crimes.